supposed to be spent on them wasn't being spent on them. Somebody was getting it somewhere. So.
That's right. Seems so.
Yeah, follow the money trail, because I know there's a lot of money being spent during the war, but somebody's benefited. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I know we need more jobs. I guess. I know. I heard him say he was going to try to create more jobs for us. So maybe that's we need a lot more jobs for people. There's a lot more people in America. To face it, we're getting a lot of people. We need jobs.
What do you think about all this? There's been so much talk in recent decades, really, probably starting with the civil rights movement. Really, before that, this is what America's about diversity, about ethnic differences and all of that. What do you see about that? Has it gotten better? What needs to change? What needs to stay the same? That kind of.
I don't think it's gotten any better. I mean, I really, people say they try to make it sound like it gets better on TV and the news. The media tries to make it sound like it gets better, but if you're living on the streets and stuff, I mean, it seems to me things are the same. I mean, they still have their racial differences. They have, you see that all over. They have the gangs and everything, gang wars. The prison's full of it.
Prisons?
Oh yeah, the prisons are full of it.
Full of the racism?
And they do that. The prison itself, Department of Corrections, are the ones that encourage it, because they segregate them. Put the blacks with the blacks, the Mexicans with the Mexicans. They separate you into your gangs. They do that so that they'll keep them at each other and not against them. So if they're in there and constant fighting, constantly killing each other in there, and they get out, they're not going to change. There's thousands and thousands of people in prisons in California alone, and if they think that way, a lot of them have kids. Their kids think that way, and they're on the streets.
So that's another place that needs some change, is the prison system, huh?
Prison system.
What do you see about that? I mean, that's an intractable one. That's a tough one.
That's the thing that, I don't think how they can change it. It's a money-making operation, one of the biggest money makers in the United States. It's right up on the top of the list of money-making. I don't see them changing it.
Hey, did you spend any time in prison?
I spent a lot of time in prison.
And I thought so. And was that back a ways, though?
Yeah.
And so, what, state, federal? I've heard that it's different depending on where. I've heard state's the very hardest.
Yeah, state, federal. State. Yeah, it's
So there's been all this, again, talk about prison reform. And when I was working out, volunteering out at the federal penitentiary out there in Sheridan, I could see evidence of some things that might, not knowing what the change would look like, but that might be, some of the guys were saying, after they'd been there 15, 20 years, that they got it, that they were sort of in a monastery. And they could either live their lives and get themselves together there or not. But not many of them. That was like 2% of the whole population, right?
Yeah. Well, see, that's a federal. That's a different. You're not your average murderer. That's a different kind of crime. It's federal, But I was in there in Folsom prison 10, 12 years ago when the guy, he had been in there He was the same age as I am, and I'm 60 now, so he had been there since 1966.
Whoa, in Folsom, the state prison?
Yeah, he was in the old one. I was in the new one. And they have a new one now. They built a new one across it. And they have it. But yeah, he was in, I don't know if he was in Folsom that whole time, but he said he'd been locked up since 1966. And he didn't want to get out.
That's what a lot of them say.
Yeah.
And the recidivism, the return is so fast because people get out after 20 years and
Yeah, well, yeah, he's been there long. What do I want to get out for? Yeah, and yeah, and there's a lot of, I mean, I know that there's a lot of killings in there. People, inmates are stabbing each other, and then I know that for a while they're in the prisons, of course we're in prison where my brother worked at. There was, the officers were killing people. There was a big thing on 60 Minutes about that. They were putting people, like maybe a gang from one side, maybe a black guy against another gang, black member, putting them in a little compound yard down in a cage, and they'd let them loose, and then they'd be up on the catwalk and they'd shoot the other guy.
so after one of them killed the other one, they'd shoot the one who lived?
They'd shoot the other one. That was
And you
right
say
up on
put them in
60.
what? In a
This
in
is
a
like a
cage?
yard. It's called your yard, but they're in lockdown, so they're not outside. But it's like a cement thing, big room. It's got a like wire and gate around it. Then they have a catwalk above. You're not outside, but you're not in your cell, so you can like run, and you can play handball or whatever it is.